Yes, hi guys. Hi guys. Hi. Yes, you all are welcome back. I think I managed to get those technical bits uh, sorted out as quickly as possible. I'm awfully very sorry for that. Probably in the process of trying to update the studio software. That's why things really get out of order. Um, from the look of things, from the system in front of me, I can still see some little bits and pieces of hiccups as I am not really getting the superb quality I am expecting. Yes, I hope to see a handful of you back once again. The previous show has been deleted, and unfortunately, I will have to start all over again. Yeti Queen, yes, good afternoon to you, longest time. Yes, today is Sunday, the 23rd day of November 2025. I hope to see the remaining viewers, avid viewers, and guests such as Omolara, Omibeku, Orowale, and the others who joined me. Yes, including Daranijo Juwon. Yes, I spotted Daranijo Juwon as well before the last show was deleted, obviously due to some technical hiccups. Yes, Sunday, the 23rd day of November 2025 is today, and by the time it is 15:24 exactly, right in front of me in London, it's getting cold. In the UK, it is the normal situation of things this particular period in time in our season, and we have to live with it. We've been living with this for some of us who's been too long in the United Kingdom. Yes, we are used to the winter months. In fact, it is my own favorite season, if I may say. Yes, like I have been saying earlier on in the previous stream, Nigeria in flame in 2025. Nigeria in flame. You see, I predicted this in 2019, and that's why I want to uh, replay that stream that I made at during those critical moments in the history of Nigeria. So I hope to take you back to see what I had already predicted for that nasty piece of a contraption called Nigeria. I'm pretty sure that the rest of our viewers will join us as soon as possible. Now, like I said, perhaps all those things that were pumped out of my head at the previous time, I might probably missed out on some few points, and I'll try my best. You see, something big is about to happen. And in the last one that I deleted, I personally, Frank Bello in London, am seriously begging President Donald Trump to strike Nigeria. I don't want to apologize to anyone because I have been shouting about this a very, very long time. Yes, Yeti Queen. We have said it all along that war will happen in that's right, country that is all messed up. Completely messed up. You see, the Joker, let me tell you, if you look at Nigeria's antecedent, you will discover that any time a Southerner is either the president or the head of state, the North are not usually comfortable. In 1976, after the death of Murtala Muhammad, some of you that probably must have read Obasanjo's book, Not My Will, or whatever that man may say, I just don't believe him for whatever reason, because Obasanjo is the biggest liar in the entire Nigeria and a vindictive womanizer as well, as written by his first wife, Remi Obasanjo, Iyabo's mother. Now, between 1976 and 1979, which some of you must have probably seen some of the videos that I posted regarding Location 9 that I've taken some of you through for some time now, how Nigeria became Location 9 and the 369 code that is secretly vibrating over the country right from 1959 up to 2019, that actually completed a 3 cycle of 20 years each in a cycle, making 60 years of misery in a country located on latitude 9 and longitude 9. Think about it. I've been taking, you see, the world is running symbols and in code, and I've said to you time after time. The real, proper, original Yoruba man to get to power without any godfather is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And some of us, you must have seen, and we've actually discussed all these issues long time ago. It's a shame that many people now beginning to shout about this, about that, but we've treated both Najatu's issue, we've treated Boko Haram a long time, and we've discussed these even those days when I was still with Addison Lee before I retired. In my car, we will stream. I will tell you this, I will tell you that. I will tell you this is exactly what is about to happen. This is what they are about to unleash. Let me tell you what is going to happen to the North, because something big is going to happen in Nigeria before the end of December 2025. And I predicted, I told someone in my local Sainsbury's shop 3 months ago, one of the security guys that worked at Sainsbury's, my local Sainsbury's, Larry is his name. He was always curious to know, Mr. Bello Egbon, what is coming next, and so on and so forth. And I'll say, listen, by December this year, you will begin to see a lot of things that will unfold. I'm coming to your comment, Yeti Queen. We will discuss your comment. You see, I told him, I said, where Bola Tinubu is going to hold the North by their balls, excuse me, is the death of Muhammadu Buhari that had been covered up for a very long time. And some people perhaps were thinking I was a lunatic. I was out of my senses and my brains, and that perhaps I needed a psychiatric's help. Some even said Frank Bello is mentally retarded. You see, when the biggest of all the secrets that's been covered up in Nigeria now comes to being, I tell you what, that will be the moment when the North, the Southeast, the Midwest, and the Southwest will decide, let's go our separate ways. Northern Nigeria perhaps are thinking, oh, they've got the ace card to fight Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Remember, it was on this same channel that I revealed unto you how Bola Tinubu sent a group that belongs to Bola Tinubu's WhatsApp group that later got into my own possession, when Bola Tinubu said in that WhatsApp group that if he's not given, that was before the primaries, if the APC did not give him that presidential ticket, that he will expose the contractor, the Muhammadu Buhari's contractor that was in Asorok, the Sudanese. I am telling you, the pressure on Aisha Buhari, the wife of the authentic Muhammadu Buhari, is going through at the moment is serious. Aisha Buhari, I can authoritatively tell you that she wants to tell Nigerians exactly what happened in 2017, and that the husband died in 2017, and that his government was hijacked by the cabals. And a new contractor wearing a latex cover-up, a clone, a body double, was then contracted because of exactly what happened to Umaru Yaradua when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan took over power. Aisha Buhari, as I gathered, is unable to fathom all the ekpe, all the curses being passed on, heaped on her and her children at the moment. So Aisha Buhari, as I gathered, is at the point of telling Nigerians the truth, and it will happen just, if not this December, January, it will happen. Yes, I'm coming to all your comment. Yeti Coin. Before, in fact, let's go straight into the nitty-gritty of what I wanted to show you guys, and this is it. Let me see. Yes. Now, I'm not too sure if it is not going to buffer up properly. I'm going to go back into the main studio to play the video directly from the main studio. But this was what I made up. It was supposed to be premiered on the 21st day of November, 2 days ago. But because I was working on other projects. Yeti Queen, we will go through your comments. Please interact with me. Share the stream. And let's know exactly what is going through your thought, what is going through your mind. Now, let's go through my live video podcast in 2019. Now, please watch this very well, because I analyze Nigeria properly for you in that video whilst I was in Addison Lee in my car. Watch it. This is it. You're welcome back. Oh dear. Nigeria is bleeding, and it is bleeding profusely. Okay, it's not buffering well. Okay. I knew we will encounter this technical hiccup playing it directly from this studio here at this point in time. But what I'm going to do is that I am going to go back into the main studio. I've prepared it right up for you, and it will be very smooth from this end this time around. Here it is. No, it is not this one. Let me bring it in. Let me bring it in. I thought I had already prepared the stuff earlier on, but let me, yeah. Probably in the process that I was rebooting the system after some configuration. It is in here, yeah, and it is this one. I think I only prepared it for the second studio. Now it's coming your way. I want you to please watch it. Nigeria bleeding. Nigeria is bleeding. My stream in 2019 that is still very current today, that many people probably were unable to see and unaware that it's been analyzed. Nigeria 369. Yes, Nigeria in symbols and in secret code. (369). Yes, 3 plus 6 plus 9, 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. The 9, Nigeria. Three completed cycles of 20 years in each duration. 60 years of colonial and post-colonial rule. Yes, you can see the parasite sucking Nigeria, sucking Nigeria's blood. Cracked, broken Nigeria, criminal gangs in power. Oh, thank you, Darani Jojumo. Beautiful background music, yes.
Before we go into COVID-19, let's quickly remind ourselves where we certainly find ourselves. See, I want to use that word today, that those who call themselves Nigerians. I don't want to use that word today, that they're stupid. Because the mess that they are in today could have been aborted in 2019, and perhaps maybe right now the topic of our discourse was hashtag NWO and hashtag recolonization of Africa. Before we go into that, I'm just reminding you, and then there was what if the other time. Now, oh, Jocelyn Ma said she's listening to MNK. Mazi Nandekano. Now, in 2019, or before 2019, those people in that contraption called Nigeria.
Yes, Daranjo Juan. Yes. No worries.
And the reason I was fooled, and in a line I can spot you, was because of the bad governance. See, had Goodluck Ebele Jonathan acted like a president, to which I knew
Listen carefully. In 2020,
for the likes of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to rule.
yes,
I knew. And I remembered very, very vividly. There was a publication I made, and I suggested Goodluck Ebele Jonathan should run away from the presidency. I wrote that article and I begged Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to please, in the name of Almighty God, conduct the most credible elections in the history of that country after June 12th. I passionately wrote to him and I begged him. But see, those guys are very selfish, and the people that surrounded them as well were selfish. They were unable to see what I was able to see at the time. They were unable to see that. And it was a big shame. In fact, in the article, guys, I even suggested to Goodluck Ebele Jonathan because as at that time, I looked at the equation of politics at the time. Yeah, guys, Lola Lasukomi is already in the house. They've been asking for you, Lola Lasukomi. I looked at the political equation of that country at the time. And when I looked at that political equation and the rotational agreements between the PDP at the time, that each and every geopolitical zones in the country must have a shot at the presidency. Now, see, not many people are aware that the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, was formed inside Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida's mansion in Mina. Not many people are aware of that. It was formed in there. Atiku Abubakar was one of those founding members. And when it was formed, the idea of the rotation between each geopolitical zones was an idea that IBB initiated, and it was supported as a gentleman's agreement. When that was on, because the entire country was inflamed at the time, obviously, due to the annulment of June 12th and the role Obasanjo played in the annulment, that role that subsequently landed him in jail by Abacha, because Abacha was aware. Look, if you think Abacha locked Obasanjo up deliberately, and Yaradua, who later died in the cell, because he is aware that Obasanjo was the one that gave the military order.
Correct.
To IBB, not to hand over power to a womanizer. Now, agreements were made Now, you can begin to see if the right game were played, perhaps that should have aborted the likes of Kovic-19. Kovic. No, I think it was Kovic. Kovic-19. Somebody without any qualifications that actually enrolled in the army, and all the emirs in the north continue to instruct the military power to continue to promote him until he got to the rank of a major general. Somebody that Nasiru El-Rufai said he happens to be the only military ruler and military officer in the whole of Nigeria that never had any suffix that's wrapped around his name, that he'd never passed any exams, not even in the military, talk less of Command and Staff College in Jaji. They knew, but because the Southwest was boiling and the agitation in the Southwest was severe, so the Northern Caliphate, through the leadership of Babangida, then rooted for Obasanjo to come back and then sort out the mess of the June 12th. That was how Obasanjo was drafted in. Many of the leaders, such as Adamu, Chiroma, that is another story entirely. Because majority of these people are just failures that messed up the entire economy of the nation. Chiroma was of finance that was not even educated, but made the CBN governor and then finance minister. Want IBB to make sure if he's doing something right. Many of the leaders in the north asked IBB if he knew exactly what he was doing. But because IBB commanded so much respect, both in the military and with the northern oligarch, they left him, but they warned him that he only knew Obasanjo as a superior, and Obasanjo sees him as a subordinate. They knew him that on two different occasions, Ibrahim Babangida was the one that saved Obasanjo from being killed. Abacha died in the process of the fact that he had already killed Yar'Adua.
Listen, these are the mother of all secrets.
The next people he was at the point of eliminating that may truncate his hold on Nigeria. Dia Ojo was nothing. That one was already down. He's been marked.
Oladipo Dia, I mean, not Dia Ojo.
Already hanging on Dia.
Oladipo Dia.
Obasanjo and IBB were the biggest threat to Abacha. You never hear this from no one.
Guys, I was privileged to all this secret information. That was why.
And the moment
Information that are not documented, but secretly documented.
to IBB of the mayhem Abacha wanted to unleash on him, to eliminate him and then you know, it's a mafia. These guys are mafia. That was when IBB then acted. And because IBB quickly acted, and because he was in the scene, and that was why Abdulsalam Abubakar, the moment Abacha was eliminated, that was when Abdulsalam was quickly installed. Before Al-Mustafa will take control of Hijack and Jeremiah Husseini.
This is raw.
Uromi, Life of Celebrity, said, I am right, that was exactly what his father told him about the creation of the PDP. That's why these people are scared of me. I told you, if they sneeze inside Asorok, I know immediately here. Most of the time, I'm not really sorry for them. Obasanjo was then installed. Babangida installed Obasanjo. See, I'm going to show you a picture. Most people saw that picture, but they don't really know the gravity of what was contained in the picture. I have the picture here, and I'll show you guys. I have everything on record for your information. Now, some of you might be wondering, why is Obasanjo and Abiola at loggerheads, that they hate themselves so passionately? The answer is very simple. Most people don't know, but I'm going to tell you.
Wallex, I can spot you. You are secretly watching the stream.
See, before I show you this, so that you know the true picture of how you got into the mess, how your contraption got into the mess with killings. A lot of people were killed. If you have to get to that position to sit on that throne, if you haven't killed or be ready to kill, you won't get there. Now, when this man, Obasanjo, gave that military order for Babangida to annul the election, I spoke to at least 3 people regarding June 12th, because I was so passionate about the players of the June 12th. Not many Nigerian journalists were so passionate that way. They all write about June 12th and they blame IBB for annulling that election, but they've never gone deep to the roots of the problem to uproot the truth. And that was exactly what I did, all the way from London. And I never lied. Because that day, my marriage was still intact at the time, but it was under pressure. Cordelia Eze, good evening. My marriage was still intact, but there was stress and pressure because of nature of my job. You can imagine. I picked up the phone from London and I phoned the Hilltop. I was passed through to the top man. We exchanged banter. And then after everything, then I said to him, oh, Frank, when are you coming to Nigeria? Oh, then I said, oh, because I was waiting for him. He would always ask, when are you coming? And I was ready to go. Oh, and I said, oh, I'm coming in a few weeks' time, but I'm coming because I'm in search of June 12. And when I said I was in search of June 12, he said, okay, come around then, Frank. And true, I left and I arrived. When I arrived, he knew my mission. We exchanged banters, and he said, my mission this time is that I want to uproot everything that went wrong in June 12, because I want to speak the truth. If you don't want to speak the truth, I want to speak the truth to the Nigerian people. On the spot, he picked up his phone and then called 3 people. I met with those 3. One prominent one was the late Are Arishikola Ibadan. That was party to the June 12 saga. I won't mention the name of the other 2. Let's keep those 2 secret. With my conversations with Are Arishikola in Ibadan, I wasn't the only one. Got so good I wasn't the only one. I had 2 of my closest friends at the time that accompanied me to Arishikola's palace. So they witnessed everything that Arishikola had to say, despite the fact that Arishikola was on tape and all the people that I interviewed were on tape. At least one of those people is equally a retired general in the army. Arishikola, and I think I have to swear on my father's grave this time, because that was my personal research, and I spent my own money, not Nigeria's money. I spent my own money in search of the truth. Not that somebody gave me the money. And that research took me through the crannies of Nigeria. Had Arishikola not died, and he's alive today, with those 2 of my friends that went with me, Murphy Ajala and this guy, this Ijebu guy, I remember his name. We fell apart. Femi Okunjimi. They were with me on that trip. You see, I'm mentioning names. And that's why I swear on my father's grave that Are Arishikola confirmed, and he said, Frank, put it into writing. And that was meant to be published here. Let me look for it. Got that here. That was meant to be published here. When I said Are Arishikola exploded. June 12th annulment, Are Arishikola exploded. IBB acted on Obasanjo's order not to hand over power to a womanizer. Arishikola, may so rest in peace, told me I should write it that way, that he will challenge Obasanjo to a television debate. If the worst come to the worst, that he was the one that plunged Nigeria into that mess, that IBB should never hand over power to a womanizer. That he knew about it and he can never deny it. Now, why was Arishikola and Obasanjo not in good terms? He told me, and the two others that does not even know I was coming for such a nation, equally confirmed that MKO, that man there, you can see him on IBB, but MKO himself knew that Babangida was not his nightmare, that his own Egba man was his nightmare. Now, connect the two dots together. Chief Ernest Shonekan and Egba man was the one that replaced that interim national government. Ernest Shonekan was Obasanjo's best friend and childhood friend. They are both from the same Abeokuta in Ebaland. Now, it does not stop there, because he, MKO, knew the score, because the telephone conversation start a bit. The telephone conversations between OBJ and IBB were recorded as evidence. Babangida invited MKO. At that invitation at the State House. See, sometimes it is good to have wisdom. When you are directed with wisdom, a lot of people will probably say IBB happens to be in Maradona, whatever you want to call it. Look, you are free. But he was smart. See? He knew that in the future there are some things that will backfire. But because he was the head as at that time, that is why the bulk of the blame is heaped on his head. And there's no amount of spiritual soap or magic wand that can cleanse or purge him of that June 12th. Forget about any other atrocities or mistakes he made, but that June 12th. Now, he then called people like Arishikola, Engineer Atoeze, many other people, wired up. The people that will listen to the conversations between himself, Abacha, and Abiola, those three locked themselves up in a special room at the State House in Aso Rock. Other guests were in other rooms to which they were listening to the conversations of those three, Abacha, IBB, and MKO. When those three, MKO, Abacha, and IBB, were in their session, that was when IBB then played the tape to MKO to tell, because they were friends, to tell him this was beyond him, that his hands were tied. How OBJ suggested Chief Ernest Shonekan was in the tape. Well, last one said Genesis 6:5, chapter 6, verse 5. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And I think later on, in the same Bible, God was equally angry that he created man because of that same wickedness. Right. Let's go a bit deeper. Oh God. I'm very small, but I'm so small. But I'm extremely dangerous. And the way I operate is like a serpent. I tread dangerous paths, and oh God, help me. How I have managed to escape those deadly paths, it's not by my making. So, when those locked themselves up the tree, IBB, Abacha, Abiola, IBB then suggested he will step aside. That was the language. He will step aside. And that he will hand over the power to Ernest Shonekan. That, look, IBB said all the time, he addressed Obasanjo as Oga. Yeah, Godly Denizard. They've been asking for you. Jocelyn Noah said you are on MNP's platform. Lola Lasukomi, I have been living in England for almost 40 years now. Almost 40 years. Because I knew. My father told me a long time. Now, what then happened? Abibi said he will hand over power to Ernest Shonekan, and that he's going to step aside, and that Abacha should give Ernest Shonekan some time over, because Ernest Shonekan is not a military guy, and then take over power from Shonekan and hand it over back to Abiola. When Shonekan assumed responsibility as head of the interim national government, Shonekan knew that Abacha would come for him, because ideally Babangida went with all his service chiefs. The moment the head of state is off, service chiefs are all political posts. They go with the head of state. But then IBB was going, but then left Abacha. He was meant to go with Abacha, because Abacha, as the chief of army staff, was meant to go with him. Left him because there was a gentleman's agreement between the three. IBB, MKO, Abiola. Abacha was meant to strike, and he did. And the whole idea was strike, hand over power back to MKO. But not many people were aware of the development. Not many. See, not even Bola Tinubu, and I'm going to show you a picture, because the moment Abacha overthrew the government, took over government from Ernest Shonekan, because Ernest Shonekan made it known to Abacha that whenever he's ready to take over the government, he should just let him know. You guys don't know. Chief Ernest Shonekan at the time was the chairman of the UAC. Before that time, guys, I was working with a publishing company, because I know. And I remember I spoke to Chief Edu and Chief Ernest Shonekan at UAC from the Imperial Publishing Group here, because I was working on one of the top publications called The Accountants. I was working on the Baby Annual, The Accountants, the UK East European Export Directory, and then the European Hotelier. I was working on those 4 publications, and I think the European Hotelier, the editor of that publication was Jenny Hilliard, and I had associate editor at the time, the same Alistair Campbell, because I used to hold meetings regularly with these guys. Now, the moment Abacha struck, MKO was the first person to visit Abacha at the State House, Aso Rock. And that was the picture. There, here. You can see Abiola there, you can see Abacha there, you can see your Jaga bandits there. Meanwhile, that Jaga bandit you're looking at behind Abacha there, Abiola did not know that he was stabbing him as well behind, because Jaga bandit, despite the fact that they were all campaigning, he was begging the same Abacha for a commissionership post. Abiola straight at the State House. You can see them. Straight. So, Abiola was there to remind Abacha of their gentleman agreement, the pact between IBB himself and Abacha. If you don't remember, I will remind you. When Babangida was in power, And when the revelations were presented to MKO, MKO never campaigned or said anything bad or derogatory to IBB's government because he knew the circumstances that surrounded IBB not handing over power. Now, I looked at the event when that revelation came into my possession, and I was able to put 2 plus 2 to make 4, or 2 times 2 to equally make 4. To think, okay, MKO Abiola's wife, Simbiat, was Ajoke Mohammed's best friend, Murtala Mohammed's wife. Ajoke Mohammed, through Simbiat, introduced MKO Abiola to Murtala Mohammed when he was the head of state, and Obasanjo was the Chief of Staff Supreme Headquarters. So, Abiola has been benefiting from the government since the Murtala Mohammed's days, and he continued to make friendship with subsequent leaders that Obasanjo was not comfortable with, despite the fact that they are both from the same Egba land. Abacha took over power, tasted power, because Abacha has been nursing the ambition as well that he will equally rule Nigeria.
"2020
That's why I said
podcast," ladies and gentlemen. If you're joining us for the first time, you're welcome. Please don't forget to like, give us the thumbs up, and if possible, share the stream.
not many people know the evil that's been perpetrated. That's why I cry for those that will kill themselves because of all these riffraffs, all these useless leaders that COVID-19 should have wiped out from the surface of that country by now. Abacha tasted power, but was unable to relinquish that power. And that was when people like him, Bola Tinubu, Bola Tinubu was dealing with Abacha on one hand, and he was equally telling MKO that he should claim his mandate through their fraudulent Nadeco, an illegal organization that they all formed at the time. I was looking at them because I knew these people were all fraudsters. They are mafias, they are gangs. Abacha refused to relinquish power, and as such, that was the beginning of the fight between Abacha and MKO, and subsequently that claimed his wife's lives, Kudi, and then the second wife, and then Abacha subsequently eliminated him. When he was eliminated, the Southwest was boiling. That was when IBB then drafted in Obasanjo, because Abacha was at the point of eliminating both Obasanjo and IBB, because those two were the people that can stop him from achieving his dreams. But then Abacha did not know that Babangida happens to be his own boss and master. Gangsters. And when he died, so they had to compensate the Southwest. And the only reputable person they can deal with, because they don't really trust any other person that can do the biddings of the Northern agenda. Now, OBJ has been tried and tested because they believed him that in 1979, in the end of your first phase of your misery cycle, he handed over power to their own Hausa Fulani people. So they trusted him, and that was why people, but as at that time, don't forget, he was just a puppet. And because he was doing the biddings of the northern oligarch, that was why he quickly handed over power to another Hausa Fulani, Shagari. So that was why. And that was why Adamu Chiroma and many of the northern leaders through Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, asked IBB whether he knew exactly what he was doing. Then, you don't know about this, then I'll tell you again. Another pact was then made between IBB and OBJ before IBB handed that mandate for Obasanjo to contest the elections in 1999. Obasanjo had no money because he's just been released and all his properties and everything's gone down the drain. IBB said to him, no worries, money is not the issue. Mike Adenuga was the one that delivered the money that the PDP used for that elections to bring Obasanjo into power. But before that time, there was another pact that Obasanjo must only serve one term between IBB and OBJ. He must serve one term, and that first term he must serve, his mandate was to peg the entire military, because there was nobody. As at that time, Nigeria needed a military person to peg them. MKO Abiola wouldn't have been able to do that because he wasn't a military guy. And the military is not, the Nigerian military or the African military are not like the military forces or installations in the Western world. So the moment Boris Johnson became the Prime Minister, the head of the army automatically surrender everything to him. You recognize Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, as his boss. And Boris Johnson can easily command the head of the army. If there is any problem today, or another country wants to wage any war against the United Kingdom, the very first person is the head of the army and then defense secretary. In fact, the head of the army is under the defense secretary. The head of the army is the one that will provide logistics, intelligence, and everything to the defense secretary. You see how things work in an enlightened and in a civilized environment as opposed to a kangaroo nation,
Power hungry nation.
where there is the law of the jungle, where nothing works.
What we are talking about today is Nigeria in Flame in 2025. And you're watching an old podcast of mine, rebroadcast today.
The way the military refused to take orders from Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, because they would see him as an ordinary civilian. That's how they address ordinary people. But IBB knew, they all know, that it is only a high-ranking military officer that can do it, and Obasanjo happens to be the only one that will be acceptable. They cannot draft in Gowon because the country will be on fire, because the Southwest is boiling. So Obasanjo was used as compensate for that grief that the Southwest was going through. Served one term, peg the military. IBB was meant to come in, I think this was in 2007. No, I think it was 2007. That was the beginning of the problem. Then cracks begin to open up because Obasanjo wanted another time, but because Atiku was part and parcel of the people that founded PDP at Babangida's hilltop mansion in Ibadan, knew the score. And that was why Atiku was able to face Obasanjo head on. Because Atiku was equally part of the people that put money down. Everything messed up. Completely messed up. And then from there, Nigeria got to a particular stage whereby Obasanjo brought in loads of things through the help of George W. Bush in the United States. George W. Bush was able to introduce the finance minister through to Obasanjo from the World Bank, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. It was Bush. It was Bush because Obasanjo was on a headhunt for the very finest of Nigerian brains. He went to Bush. He begged Bush that he wanted the finest of the Nigerian brains. And that was when Bush then released Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Good job. But then and again, perhaps it would have been better. What went wrong? Third term agenda then ignited this mess. Nigeria was steadily on the path of growth because of some of the tough economic measures that Nigeria took and embarked upon as at that time. There was confidence from the international community, and most were interested in Nigeria as a hot destination for Africa at the time. The Western world were looking for where they can channel their resources. But then and again, Obasanjo's previous record as a the military junta slowed things a little bit down because of the experiences of the BP that was changed to AP and how he changed the ratio of the profit margin or percentage of foreign investors in Nigeria the other way around. So some were skeptical, some were adamant, but then it was a bit cloudy. From there, Obasanjo then brought sickly Umaru Yar'Adua died. Then came Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, to which I advised, run please Jonathan, run, conduct the finest election, run. I said to him, if I were you, see, not that I was such a bad person, but because I knew Nigeria is a country of 419 and fraudsters, and I knew the game that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan played as the deputy governor of Bayelsa State when Alamazia was governor. See, the role Goodluck Ebele Jonathan played for Alamazia to be deposed as governor of Bayelsa State at the time, only for him to be installed as the governor, and how subsequently when he equally became a governor that his wife equally wiped out almost about $3 million in one day out of the Bayelsa State account. Gave me cause for concern. That is this someone I should trust? But then and again, because of that backbiting and the wickedness of man, Obasanjo trusted Goodluck Ebele Jonathan as someone that was reporting his boss, because anytime Alamazia leaves Bayelsa State to travel abroad, Ebele Jonathan will call Obasanjo in Asoro to tell Obasanjo, through Ayekoto Olofofo that his boss is leaving. He's taking X amount of money out of the treasury to take to abroad. Made me wonder that are this the caliber of people that should be ruling that country? The last trip of Alamazia that he came, that was when Obasanjo then called Tony Blair to arrest him and lock him up. And that was how Alamazia was locked up here. And then quickly, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was installed. Guess who quickly assisted in the installation of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan as the governor of Bayelsa State? Afis ringing. And the moment, look, now connect the dots between Afis ringing. Now, when Goodluck Ebele Jonathan subsequently became vice president, because this same Obasanjo was the man that single-handedly picked Goodluck Ebele Jonathan as the vice president. Mind you, Obasanjo had already sidelined Babangida, and he told Babangida he won't be president anymore. See, the man just left everything. Now, connect the dot. When Goodluck Jonathan became president, when Umaru Yar'Adua died, who became your Inspector General of Police, the man that masterminded his rise to power as the governor of Bayelsa State, Afis Ringin, then became Inspector General of Police. Goodluck Jonathan should have done Nigeria that favor by conducting one of the most fairest elections in that country and stay clear. But still, look, he was in a position to loot the country dry. Look, they've been stealing. But power, intoxicate. That's why we are where we are today. And that's why that election had, see, had Obasanjo allowed IBB to contest, it was obvious IBB would win, and the likes of Muhammadu Buhari perhaps would never have come into the limelight. Perhaps had Obasanjo not truncated and allowed IBB because he was sober, and mind you, as at that time, I told you guys, 2 of my children were born. My first child and my first and my second were born in Nigeria. They were all Babangida's children. They were born at they were not born at a private hospital, government hospital, because Professor Olikoye Ransom Kuti was the health minister, and because Babangida assembled the finest of the Nigerian brains. He was not a tribal bigot when he was a military junta. What you are going through now was what Nigeria should have gone through when Muhammadu Buhari was invited to head that government. He was invited. He was not part and parcel of the coup that brought him to power. The coup was between Tunde Idiagbon and Ibrahim Babangida. What you are seeing today was what Muhammadu Buhari had the intention of unleashing onto you before IBB saw everything and then stopped it and then took him out. And then locked them up. If Obasanjo did the right thing, perhaps Nigeria would have been better today. Let's begin to wind down. But before I wind down, I want to run you through some of this. And I don't want you to forget this, because can you imagine world leaders I've listened to Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister. I listen to him every day. They talk to us every day, sometimes twice a day. But because the British people are not even taking this issue of COVID-19 serious, and they're still disobeying the rules. He said it emphatically today that he might be forced to take more drastic actions. He doesn't want to limit people to be restrained to their homes if you want to stretch your legs or something like that. He's made the appeal. But the British people are not just listening. But today, for the first time, after a long time, president, the supposed president, that came out to address you. I told you, well, many people said it, that he was unable to pronounce COVID-19, coronavirus. Some said, oh, maybe he's going to pronounce it as coronavirus. COVID 19. No, it's not COVID, Muhammadu Buhari. It's not only COVID. You better might as well just said Milosevic. No, it's not COVID, it's Milosevic. And you think that's Muhammadu Buhari? And you really think it's Muhammadu Buhari? Continue to deceive yourselves. Continue to deceive yourselves. Continue. You're wasting your time. See, to tell you that yesterday I made some points and I highlighted some facts that when Trump was in Nebraska and he was speaking and he said that Africans are slaves living like slaves in their own land.
2020.
Independent.
Trump
Responded to a question that a South African journalist threw at him.
Trump saw everything all, and that was why he said Africans are shithole.
It's about time that Africa is recolonized.
Yes, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that.
Be a decoy tactics into the recolonization.
Africa needed to be recolonized. I think colonization and independence was too early.
Jibril has been playing hide and seek with Nigerians for 18 months. Listen, let's quickly run through some of the most horrific stuff. These are quotes, some of the most unforgettable quotes
Listen,
in the last
let's go through them. From 2020.
in the last 10 years.
Yes.
Put it this way. Some of the most unforgettable quotes, as far as I'm concerned, in that nasty contraption they called Nigeria. Those that still believe it is Nigeria, good on you. Continue to deceive yourself.
This was in
Continue
2020.
To waste your time thinking that you have a country. You don't have a country, my friend. Olabode Oladele said, even some people here listening still believe that Bubu is still alive. The man died. The man is gone. He's dead. The wife's been giving them sick. He's been talking to them in court. You want to look back into some of the analysis I made concerning his pictures sometime long ago, maybe probably about coming to a year now. All his pictures, live show. I think somebody actually uploaded that stuff and then uploaded it onto YouTube. That even went viral on YouTube. And the person that uploaded it said, "Oh, that she doesn't really know the qualification of myself, but it seems the man who presented this presentation is highly educated, and judging from the way he's presented all these different analysis and pictures, wow, but that's my job." Now, some of the unforgettable quotes that I compiled for you that will tell you that your country is not my country. No, it's not my country, and I'm not interested. I'm interested because my father is one, my mother is one. I mean, she was one, my father was one. They've passed away. They're buried in Oduduwa Republic, not in Nigeria. They were buried in Oduduwa Republic. Okay? And that's why I am concerned. November 12, 2014. 12th of November 2014. Babatunde Raji Fashola said a serious government will fix power problem in 6 months. Fraud. Third of April 2016, in The Guardian, Tony Momo said, "Stone us, the APC, if we do not perform after 2 years," on the 3rd of April 2016. "12th of July 2014, in The Nation, Babatunde Raji Fashola again. The only way to have stable electricity is to vote out PDP. Fraud. "4th of August 2014, on Channels TV, Andrew Yakubu: we seriously frown at President Goodluck Jonathan over the unceremonious removal of the group managing director of NNPC. Fraud. Listen to this. The date was August 2010. Did you hear that? August 2010. And this was by Nasiru El-Rufai in August 2010. You know who's ruling that time? Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. He was ruling. Nasiru El-Rufai said, "It is time to restructure Nigeria." Did you hear that? Nasiru El-Rufai in August 2010 said, "It is time to restructure Nigeria under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. The present situation of things, because of the bombing going in flame, left, right, and center, where all component units get monthly allocation from the federal government, only makes the state lazy and unproductive." So he was advocating for Nigeria to be restructured in August 2010. Fraud. Again, the same August 2012, Jonathan was ruling. The same Nasiru El-Rufai told the world Jonathan should resign if he has no solution to the violence being unleashed on some parts of the country. So why can't he address their Jubril in Asoro now to resign? Can you now see that it is a fraud? Can you see? March 10, 2010, in the Sun newspaper. Did you hear that? I want you to follow this. 10th of March, 2010, in the Sun newspapers, Muhammadu Buhari said, and I quote, Muhammadu Buhari said, and I quote, "The only solution to the present political uncertainty in the country is for the National Assembly to set machineries in motion for the impeachment of ailing President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. Now, what is your Senate and your Federal House of Reps are doing? Now that the same man that was advocating for the impeachment of ailing President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua at the time, what are they doing? Knowing fully well that the man at the seat of the throne is not Muhammadu Buhari. Lala Sukomi, you said God knows how they silenced Aisha Buhari. Aisha Buhari has got everything she wanted. I can authoritatively confirm to you that Aisha Buhari has got a big mansion in Dubai. She's got a mansion in the United Kingdom, and she's got a mansion in the United States. No mortgage, nothing. She's settled for life. It's not only that. Muhammadu Buhari's properties are tied around the whole of Nigeria, and I challenge. I'm sorry that they have not. Nobody has ever come up to challenge me on some of the things I've been saying. I said it in one of my shows, and I was surprised that nobody's coming forward. There's a particular building on Broad Street in Lagos, because I used to service Alitalia's advertising account with the Nigerian Yellow Pages those days. You see that building not too far away from the Central Bank of Nigeria on Tinubu Square, not too far away, was Muhammadu Buhari's property. That was not declared in Muhammadu Buhari's inventory that was when I knew. March 2010, in the Sun's newspaper, the same Muhammadu Buhari was calling for the impeachment of President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. Then and again, February 2015, the same Muhammadu Buhari said to Nigerians in the UK, the same Muhammadu Buhari said to Nigerians in the diaspora in the UK, that waste, said, let me give an instance. Presently, there are more than 6 aircraft. He was talking on waste. And because Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was ruling at the time, there are more than 6 aircrafts in the presidential fleet. What do you call that? A question mark. Billions of naira is budgeted every year for the maintenance of this aircraft, not to talk of operational cost and other expenses. Fraud. He said it. They can't deny them because these are quotes from them. Don't forget, I'm a custodian of information. And I keep record of every information. Because I keep record of information, I know if you make mistakes in the future, I will use that information against you. And that's why I'm not a friend to any of them. And I don't want to be friends with any one of them. I just want to do my own job and carry my own job to the very best of my ability without any interference from anyone because I'm not scared of anyone. The only person I'm scared of, like I always say, is my maker, because that is the person I will return to account for my deeds on the surface of the planet. Waste. February 2015.
Nigeria in flame,
The same
still in
February
flame in 2025.
Again, to the Nigerians in the UK, Muhammadu Buhari said, we intend, for instance, to bring back our national carrier, the Nigerian Airways. False. We shall do this by bringing all the aircraft in the presidential fleet into the Nigerian Airways, and within a year increase the fleet into 20. Fraud. Fraud. February again 2015 to Nigerians in the UK. Again, another fraud quote. Why do I need to embark on foreign trip as a president with a huge crowd with public funds? Question mark. Why do I need to go for foreign medical trip if we cannot make our hospital functional? Fraud. If you watched well, that's if he's the one. See, now that they've even shut their own border, can you see the frog in his throat? Yesterday I was watching that presidential, it was an interview that Nigerians were daft, that this man was fumbling. This man doesn't even know what livestock is. This man doesn't even know what almanjaris are. This man doesn't know anything. And Nigerians are so daft. But because some godfathers wanted the same man, just for their own selfish need, because they're not really bothered about their own region, because all their hands are soaked in blood. December 26th, 2014, in the Nation newspaper, Babatunde Raji Fashola said, why is the nation's currency, the naira, now trading for 180 naira to the dollar, while the South African rand is trading at 11 rand to $1 US? The CBN today, under the same APC government, they've probably looked at the country dry, and right now the CBN, because of COVID-19, are now thinking of devaluing the Nigerian currency further.
Okay, guys, let's. I'm going to upload the full video for some of you to watch at a later time. It is so sad, very, very sad, that in 2025, Nigeria is still in flame. Very, very sad. I repeat. But if I tell you that that flame, as a matter of fact, was something I did spiritually. Let me put it that way, spiritually. And because I did that spiritually, let me see if I can just quickly bring in the video for you. Let me see if I can quickly just bring it in, and then I will explain that to you, and then we will bring the stream to an end. Let me try and look for where it is in the folder. Yes, I think I found it. Let me see if I can play it from.
Very soon, people will be arrested for holding Nigeria's passport. Definitely.
Yeah, watch this.
I'm not going to make this a prolonged case. So we have to really face the issue.
Okay,
the day.
This is not equally buffering well from this end of the studio. So let me go back into and then bring it in and play directly from the main studio. Yes, I brought the video into the main studio, but as for me, this was how I deliberately put Nigeria in flame in 2017. I had a lot of people that really went against my action at the time. But I am not sorry. And I don't want to apologize to anyone, because as far back as 2017, obviously, due to the fact that there were too many mishaps at the time, and Nigerians were seriously being deceived by those blood-sucking parasites, if I may put it that way. So I decided spiritually to, as a matter of fact, do it differently, the way anybody else perhaps were unable to carry out the task. Under a divine instruction, it just came down to me to, as a matter of fact, set Nigeria on fire in 2017. Yes, as far back as 2017. That caused a lot of fracas, even within my family and my other siblings. But spiritually, as for me, under a divine inspiration, decided to set Nigeria on fire. And since that my action in 2017, there has been no peace in Nigeria. And let me show you exactly how that spiritual divination came into me. And I said there can be no peace as far back as 2017. And since that action, Nigeria saw no peace. Now, I want you to please check out this video clip and then see how Nigeria was, as a matter of fact, set on fire. Here it is.
Some people will be arrested for holding Nigeria's passport. Definitely.
2017, when I set Nigeria on fire.
Make this a prolonged case. So we have to really face the issue of...
Yes, 2017, the year Frank Bello destroyed Nigeria, spiritually on fire.
So that you don't say I've got another passport. I'm going to cover my data because I don't want people to steal my personal data. You can see that. Okay? And the passport number is obviously there. I don't really care. You can see here.
That is the seal at the back and the seal inside. That is Nigeria set on fire.
And document. And I want to tell them I'm not interested in that shithole. The only time I will come to Nigeria is if they divide that country and we get our Ududua Republic. That is the condition to which I will go to my fatherland. Nigeria is not my fatherland. So now, guys, I want you to follow the camera as we take it round. As you can see, the passport is still there. And I'm holding it. And that is the piece. And I'm going to do that.
Yes, Nigeria destroyed.
Goodbye, Nigeria. Fuck you, Nigeria. I am not interested in you, Nigeria. You can see that? I am practically not interested in this nasty piece of the nation.
That was how I destroyed Nigeria in 2017. And there has been no peace.
I am coming to your Ruga land, your Fulani land. You are practically wasting your bloody time. Guys, goodbye, Nigeria. I'm done with you, Nigeria. Not in my life anymore. So they should tell. Look, send this round. Let the DSS know. They should know. They should be informed. That one crazy man, one nasty Yoruba man is born. And this is the way Nigeria is going to born.
Yes, 2017.
That is how that country will be burned into ashes. I tell you, this is how Nigeria will end. This is the end of that contraction called Nigeria. That's the end. And I don't need anything from that nation. before my flat gets fire, let me go and put this straight in the zinc. That's it. Guys, goodbye. Yoga land. I'm gone. They dared me, and I told them, don't.
Yes, guys, that was the very day Nigeria was destroyed, burnt. And as a matter of fact, it was just immediately after that that a friend of mine, I'm not going to mention that friend of mine, one of those top immigration officers at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, who usually come pick me up from the door of the aircraft anytime I arrived in Nigeria, called me up after that action from Nigeria to tell me that what I did was that I set spiritually, I set Nigeria on fire because the seal of the Nigerian government, the federal coat of arms, is in that passport. And I said, I know. And there can be no peace. That it was a spiritual instructions that I carried. From 2017 to 2025, that country has been moving, has been plagued from one fire incident to the other, and there can be no peace. Nigeria will know no peace. The rulers of Nigeria and their generations, and those generations that are yet unborn, will find no peace. Nigeria is cursed. The only thing that can salvage that country is to break it up. And I hope and I beg that Donald Trump will act as quickly as possible. On this note, guys, Anibolaji, good evening to you. Oh, you came in late. I'm just bringing the live stream to an end. Maybe it's been a long time, 2 hours and going to 3 minutes now. Yes, I have not streamed for some time. And the last time I think I came live was on the 5th of September, 2025, over a month ago. But I've been posting and, you know, a lot of videos for you guys to watch. All the rulers, all the leaders of Nigeria will know no peace. They will never experience peace. Their children, their generations, and those that are yet unborn will know no peace. Pain will be a portion in their entire life. Sickness will be plagued by them. Sickness that will be incurable is their portion. Because the amount of heads, innocent souls in the country is crying for help. Guys, watch out as we bring this stream to an end. Watch out. Just press the like button, subscribe, and follow us on both Facebook, and press the bell icon on YouTube so that anytime I'm live or a new video is uploaded onto all the channels, you'll be alerted. Yes, Anibolaji, you're right. Let me post your comment. It's the right time now to break the chains to save lives. Indeed. I'm just indulging and I'm begging President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to please either restructure or reset or reconfigure or readjust Nigeria is the only solution. This issue of North versus South must be addressed. The Yorubas don't want to be in the same country as the North or the East. If you want to keep Nigeria, fine. But return us back to the 1960, 1963 regional formation. It is about time, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Yorubas don't believe in one Nigeria anymore. The Igbos equally don't believe in one entity called Nigeria anymore. The Hausas, they want to go. They've been advocating for a restructuring right all the way from Muhammadu Buhari when Obasanjo was in power. This marriage of inconvenience is claiming too many lives of the indigenous Yoruba people in the Southwest. And this must come to a stop. Oh, that at least restructuring is a better part of where to go our separate way. Yeti Queen. Let me seize the opportunity to thank all of you. Let's bring the stream to an end. It's been a long stream, obviously because it's been a long time. I've been on air and I've been posting. But today I said, okay, let's do it. Let me come live and share things with you. Perhaps in my next stream, I'm going to talk about the slamming of life imprisonment on Nnamdi Kanu on his agitation, and the 20 years imprisonment given to a Boko Haram killer. Guys, I thank you all for coming to watch today's stream, Sunday, 23rd day of November 2025. The time in London is 17:27 London time. Let's bring the stream to a close, and I look forward to seeing you on my live show. Hopefully, during the week, midweek, or perhaps weekend, depending on the kind of situation that is currently happening in location 9. Thanks for watching. Let's bring it to a close, and I hope to see you then. Thank you. God bless you. Have a nice week.
Beyond the headlines. News in its purest form. If you have enjoyed this video or any of our podcasts or live streams, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe for more content like this. We make information simple. Your experience matters to us. Liberty Media Communications. Live stream with confidence. Fewness of words. Greatness of deeds. We empower people around the world to stand up for their social or ethical principles of freedom or entitlement. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video or live stream.